Hello and welcome into this edition of the Sancomb Show. I'm your host, Matt Kiefer, the Director of Athletic Communications here at the Vulcans. With me as always, head coach Danny Sancomb. A nice Thursday morning for you here. No game last night. You got to be a dad and watch a big basketball game, so it was kind of different for you, but I'm sure good in its own way to be a proud dad to see be a victory for your son's teams there.
Yeah, how it worked out, we had a bye, and they played on a Wednesday. Typically high school is Tuesday, Thursday. It was perfect, and it was an early game, so I was able to watch that and then get in and watch Seton Hill and the end of Seton Hill and Edinboro, so it was a productive day.
Okay, well, again, looking back, only one game last week with the kind of messiness of the schedule here. You get some buys built in, but also now with Mercer's leaving the conference, there's even more buys built in. So it was one of those things. There only one game since our last show. It was at Pitt Johnstown on Saturday. A tough loss for the Vulcans there on a really beginning of the stretch of a bad series of weather days for this basically area there. But one of those things, going to Pitt Johnstown, it's a tough team. Coach has been there a long time. A system you know what it's going to be. It's just a tough day overall for the Vulcans.
Yeah, we played pretty well offensively. When you think you're going to get 93 points for us, I usually think we're going to win. But defensively, we just we struggled following game plan, and we struggled executing. Give credit to Pitt Johnstown. They carved us up. They did a really good job executing on offense, but we just didn't lock in and make them do what they don't do well. And when you let them get going, and they did get going, they really did hurt us. And it was from the first half through the second half. We just had trouble getting stops. It was tough.
Yeah, it was a game there being 105-93, one of those high-scoring games. When the Vulcans score high, you definitely take the Vulcans there. But again, UPJ had three guys over 20 digits there. Ryan Smith, he's been a 1,000-point scorer for them. He could fill it up, and he got 22. It was his 8th 20-point game of the year. But he's been around a while. But also, they had a Seton Hill transfer, who's you guys obviously seen before, and a guy from Capital, a guy off the bench who's a 6'8 transfer, who's put up good numbers the last two nights here. So they had three guys really go for 20, and that's always tough to stop once you have that kind of balance.
Yeah, and they did it different ways. Ryan Smith, obviously, you kind of expect him. He's their leading scorer. And plays well. Their point guard, he has not shot the ball well, but we know he's a good shooter. He's starting to pick it up. He shot the ball well against us. And then, the transfer, I don't think he scored in the first half. He had 24 points in the second half, and we just didn't have an answer. And part of that was poor coaching on my part. Probably should have doubled him after a while, but we struggled guarding him in the second half, and he went off for 24 points. I think that was the difference in the game.
And for the Vulcans, there, Donald leading the team with 28 points, 6 of 11 for 3-point land. Cam got 20, but one of those things is a tough day for him shooting-wise. It was only 4 of 15 from beyond the arc. Cam getting that kind of points, you figure he's going to shoot a little bit better efficiently. But at this point, everybody knows what he wants to do, and it's tough times to get shots. How teams scheme him sometimes.
Yeah, we just need him to be more efficient. I think he attacked well. I think he got to the foul line 8 times, so we did like that, part of it. But we just need him, to be, more efficient. And we need some of the other guys. I thought Keandre was able to do some things for us, especially in the first half offensively. But we just need, more balance, through that. I thought Jordan Buchanan did a nice job in the second half. I think he made 4 or 5 threes in the second half, which was a good spark for us. But we just need a little bit more consistency through the game, from the other guys.
Yeah, Jordan finished with actually 18 points in only 20 minutes, was 5 of 8 from 3-point land. So it was very efficient from that aspect. One of those things that you just see that difference. First half, he scored 47 points, but you went shooting 30% from 3-point land. Second half, made 10 threes. So definitely got it going in the second half there. You could tell Cam got a little bit more into the game, and even Jordan stepping up in the second half.
Yeah, I think Jordan really helped us out with the 3-ball in the second half, and made some shots and got some looks. And we need him to, be aggressive. He is a very good shooter when he's open. Sometimes there's a little bit of hesitation. We want him to let it fly when he's open because we think he's going to make a high percentage of those shots.
Yeah, in the second half there, you guys are doing a good job trying to cut back there. But one of those things, UPJ kept coming away. They actually finished 19 to 22 from the free throw line. So even when you get stops, they get a free throw line, you're not really cutting the deficit just because they're finding ways to convert once they get there.
Yeah, it was just long defensive play for us. Like anything that we tried to do, they just kind of countered, and they shot the ball very well from the 3. They had layups, and I think the main thing was in the game is early on in the game, they got some easy baskets, and their confidence just grew and grew and grew, and we never could stop them the entire game. That's why we gave up 103 points.
Yeah, I saw two stats that really stood out. The idea they out-rebounded 40-29 with 46 points in the paint, so they really were, UPJ, one of those things, back in the day with Kromka, they always were good in the paint, but they just really effective and close. And even then, you had 93 points, but only 5 turnovers are credited to you guys. So really, down, not turning the ball over, running the point, and making passes, it's just one of those things just couldn't stop UPJ.
Yeah, and that was key. Like, we took care of the ball. I thought we executed. I thought we had good shots. You know, when you make that many threes in the second half, usually you're taking good shots. And we were able to get some good, clean looks, you know, on that. But, like, you know, you keep looking back and, you know, you give up 24 points in the second half to a guy that's scoring about 9 a game. That's tough. And, you know, like I said, we probably could have made a few adjustments. We'll learn from that and move on. Just a young group. And when you go on the road, things are a little bit different. We have to be very in sync with what we're doing when we go on the road. It's something that we've talked about all year. It's hard enough when you have an experienced team, but when you have a young team, you know, you have the bus ride there, you know, you're stopping and eating, and the routine of it sometimes can get out of hand, and we just weren't ready to play on the defensive end like we need to if we want to win games.
And it's one of those things there, you have something you want to work on, but this is a week where it kind of lends itself. It's nice you have a week off to really work on those kind of things with a young team instead of having to worry about, okay, who are we prepping for Wednesday? You got that week to really get back to basics there. There's got to be something relatively nice with those buys. You like the routine of things of Wednesday, Saturday, but getting a buy also isn't the worst thing after a loss, something like that, to really work on some things.
Yeah, and we need to. You know, like I've mentioned, our practices are much different this time of year than they normally are. We really are trying, you know, to get better. So we're repping a lot of things like we would be doing, you know, so to speak, in the preseason, you know, you know, a little bit of a break is good for us, you know, with all the guys that are out, you know, some minutes have been extended to some guys. So it's been a chance to get those guys a little bit of rest, some of the nagging injuries. You know, hopefully we can, you know, go out on Saturday and be fully healthy and be ready to play because, you know, we're going on the road again and we've got to be ready to play. It seems like we've been on the road nonstop here. So here on the back end, we're going to get some home games, which will be nice.
Yeah, we'll take a quick break here ourselves. Look at the PSAC West standings. A lot of action last night. The Vulcans are off, but everybody else seemingly played. And there's some big games last night. We'll take a look at the standings, how it looks going into this weekend against Edinboro. We'll be right back.
Coach Danny Sancomb and the Vulcans men's basketball is ready to take the conference and the nation by storm this season. The non-conference schedule that starts on November 8th is followed by the PSAC West play in January. Pack the Convocation Center with 13 home games featuring non-conference foes such as Concord, Lincoln, and Wilmington, as well as conference opponents IUP, Gannon, Slippery Rock, Clarion, Edinboro, Seton Hill, and Pitt Johnstown. Follow Cal Vulcans for the all-up-to-date schedule. Catch all the games on YouTube with CUTV Sports 1 and also the PSAC Digital Network.
If you're buzzed and doing this to make yourself feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive.
Sports fans, we cheer on our favorite teams at fields, gyms, arenas, and stadiums. But have you ever wondered what it's like to be a referee? Verbal abuse from fans, parents, and coaches is the #1 reason why many referees are walking away. And they're not being replaced quickly enough by new ones. So put yourself in the official shoes, act with respect, and be officially human.
Hello, welcome back. This is the edition of the Danny Sancomb Show. I'm your host, Matt Kiefer. And taking a look at the standings here with me will be Coach Sancomb. Had an off night last night, but everybody else in basically the conference plays. But looking at the standings here, we're getting close to the end of that first half of divisional play already, which doesn't seem possible. But seemingly the season just flies once you start playing PSAC West games.
It's crazy. You know, you start to look in here and you look at January and you're like, where has it gone? And you know, February is right around the corner. It's, you know, Wednesday, Saturday, a bye, and, you know, the season's over. You know, it's really to that point. So, you know, when you're starting to play, getting through and playing teams for the second time, things really get tough.
Yeah, so in the West, again, right now, Gannon's sort of running the league right there on the side. They actually snapped a 15-game winning streak was it Saturday? They went up to number 2 Damon, a team you've seen both of those programs this year. So you knew that would be a dogfight between those two programs, but they got the win yesterday, so they're back on the winning ways. But that's just one of those things there. It's an easy drive for Gannon, right there in Erie, right to Buffalo. But those are 2 good games. Have been a heck of a game to watch.
Yeah, both those teams are really good. Damon is one of the best offensively. They really good. They move the ball. They play well. They take care of the basketball. They got good guard play. They got good inside play. They're a complete team that can play a lot of different ways and win. And I think, Gannon going up there and really compete it, playing on the road, I think it just shows you how good our conference is. I think on the right day, Gannon could beat anybody in the country.
Yeah, and then looking at they're 11-0 right now. Number 2 is Slippery Rock in the PSCC West. They actually beat IUP last night by 11, and they were without Jomo and Maceo, 2 of their top players, and they still beat IUP by 11. But they actually just lost to Slippery Rock. Slippery Rock lost to Clarion on Saturday. And that was only the second time they lost to Clarion in the last 13 times. So it really shows right there the parity of the league. And you see Clarion right there at 4-7. They're only 3 games back, basically.
Yeah, our league, when you mentioned take Gannon out of it, is the parity is great. Like, I mean, anybody can beat anybody. And you're seeing that by, our records. Obviously, Gannon is up there and Slippery Rock second. But Slippery Rock is right there with, if they have a bad week and a team has a good week, that can flip-flop pretty quickly. But, it's like that every year. The conference is well coached with great players, and it's hard to win.
Yeah, but looking at it there, the longest winning streak is 2 games. The longest losing streak is 1 game. So in the West, it is really tight. But even taking a look overall in the East, though, I looked at this right now. Westchester, they're 10-1. Their only loss was East Stroudsburg on January 8th, but Shepherd's won 4 in a row. And East Stroudsburg actually just lost to Millersville on Wednesday last night, and they're 7-4, tied with Millersville for 4th. So you got sort of a logjam. Those 4 teams to sort of separate themselves, and the longest losing streak in the East is only 3 games. So overall, the PSAC's got a lot of great balance this season.
Yeah, and you look at the scores from last night too. There was a lot of competitive basketball games in that league. 2-point game, 3-point game. I think that says a lot about our conference. And when you get to this point in the season, teams know each other very well, so the execution of it, of winning and losing, is a very thin margin.
Yeah. So again, looking for Saturday coming against Edinboro, it's a program there. They're 9-9 already. Last year they were only 7 wins, 7-21 under their first-year head coach Justin Jennings, and they had 6 conference wins. They already have 5 right now. So they got definitely an influx of transfers. Their leading scorers a transfer from Gannon, who's from Turkey. Their second leading scorer is a guy from Clarion, and their third leading scorer is a transfer from Shippensburg, who went right to school down the road in Trinity in Washington County here.
Yeah, they're a very physical team. They really work hard defensively, make things hard. They defend the 3 extremely well, and on offense they shoot the 3 very well. They make up a big margin. They make 11 threes a game. They have a bunch of guys that can shoot it, and they run very good stuff, and they execute very well, really on both ends of the court. And they play very well at home in conference. They, I think, had Gannon down 21, 22 points in the second half of their game. They lost a heartbreaker there, and they really jumped on IUP at home as well. So we know we better be ready to play when that game starts, or it'll be a long night.
Yeah, they've played a lot of close games. They've already played 7 games this year by 5 points or less. They've already played Westchester, East Stroudsburg, IUP, and Gannon. Those are 4 teams traditionally in the PSAC tournament, if not the NCAA tournament. So they've already gone through a little bit of rigor themselves.
Yeah, and they're right there. They've won some of them, obviously, and they've lost. We looked at it on Monday. They've played in a lot of close games. So I think that tells you, usually when you're playing tough games, you got a tough team, and you're giving yourself a chance to win each and every game. And I think that's a big thing, just watching them. They're not beating themselves. They're making teams beat them. So if we want to win on the road, we're going to have to go there and execute and really bring the toughness.
You talked about tough to play at home. They actually beat IUP, I saw this year at home, and they don't beat them twice in the last 28 times, twice in the last 30-some times before playing that. So they've really made that transition under second-year head coach, and these 3 transfers have really been paying off for them.
Yeah, they're tough. They've got a good combination. Their leading scorer is an inside traditional post player. He's going to score very close to the basket, and they have shooters that spread it out. So they make it difficult on you. Like I said, they run really good stuff on offense.
So that's a breakdown here. Looking forward to what we're going to see on Saturday up there in Edinboro. It'll be a long drive right there in the cold. You see, we have snow now. I'm sure you're going to see a lot more snow come Saturday. But you can actually catch the game with CUTV. Will be making the trip up, so you can follow along with some video action and also live stats. All links on calvolcas.com. Thanks for watching today on the Danny Sancomb Show.